contested war zones.
Yep, but here we have Inkmoth Nexus.
He has Inkmoth Nexus instead.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it makes him a lot better against Wrath effects.
A lot better against Soul Sisters.
But it makes his, yeah, a lot better against Soul Sisters too. I didn't think about that at all. But it definitely makes this deck lose like some of the explosive factor that it could have.
Yep, and here we go. The game's in progress as we join it. So for those of you just joining us, I'm Gavin Verhey here with Jacob Van Lunen in the last of the Swiss rounds here at the Star City Games Open Series in Louisville, Kentucky. On your left, Matt Landstrom with Vampires. He led off with a Pulse Tracker this game. Pretty stock Vampires list. Has a single Manic Vandal main deck, red-black Vampires. On your right, Jonathan Tessler playing a White Weenie Tempered Steel. Pretty interesting stuff using the power of Porcelain Legionnaire, Shrine, or he doesn't have the Shrine.
The Shrine's probably in his sideboard.
Nope, no Shrines.
No Shrines in the 75, okay.
No, there's the Porcelain Legionnaire and Steel Overseer, Vault Scourge, Glinthawk Idol, Tempered Steel, Dispatch, Mox Opal. 2 rogue decks fighting it out for what looks to be a top 8 slot. Let's see what happens. In the meantime, Jonathan Tessler's board is Vault Scourge, Memnite, Steel Overseer versus Colostra, Highborn, and Pulse Tracker from Matt Landstrom.
That's a you know, a pretty good start for both players. It's ideal. It's exactly what they want to be doing on their first and second turns. So.
And Matt serves in with the Highborn and the Pulse Tracker. I think Vault Scourge is a pretty interesting card in this deck.
Oh, it's so powerful.
Yeah, it's really, you look at it, you're like, oh, I don't get it. Why is that card good? But especially with Steel Overseer, like, you can get out of control, or Tempered Steel. You can just get out of control and you can't be erased. Bloodghast comes down for Matt Landstrom.
All right, John goes down to 13 here. He's going to play a Tempered Steel, and then he's going to crash with both. He's going to pop up to 16, and Matt's going to drop down to 13 here. Yeah, leaving a Memnite back to block doesn't seem like the greatest thing in the world. All right, now you know, if you're Matt, if you don't have a Bolt or a Dismember here, you're in a pretty rough spot. Like the Vault Scourge is basically like this flying lifelink large monster. A faux Baneslayer, yeah. So he's going to drop John down to 10, but John's just going to bounce right back up to 13 or 15, depending on whether he has another Tempered Steel in his hand on the next turn.
Well, I mean, we saw Vampires make top 8 last week, and it's poised to do so again, but I really like the looks of this White Weenie deck. I think this is legitimately a strong contender in the metagame.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a real deck.
And I'm curious to see how what happens. What do you think the matchup is like? I mean, we're seeing it play out in front of us, and it seems like this Vault Scourge Tempered Steel thing is absolutely huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think this matchup has to be like very like play intensive in the sense that like winning the die roll is extremely important. So John's going to go ahead and pop up to 11 there.
And there's a Glinthawk Idol for Tessler, and then a Mox Opal to follow it up. The big thing for me is that, especially in Game 1, Matt Landstrom has 4 Go for the Throats in his deck, which are just absolutely dead cards, and that's one of his main forms of removal. He has that and Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, so, oh wow, so he has a Dispatch for the Colostra Highborn here.
Pretty nice, it exiles it, doesn't trigger anything.
Yeah, I mean, Matt does have the Viscera Seer, though, so Matt will be able to sacrifice his Colostra Highborn in response.
Right.
This will...
But I mean, in the matchup, it's huge because you can target, if you don't have the Seer, you can target Highborn, or importantly, you can target Bloodghast and get it out of there forever.
Yeah. It's really good in this matchup.
Yeah.
Just a very powerful card. It's like in John's deck, Dispatch is basically Swords to Plowshares with no drawback. 1 white mana, exile a creature. Path to exile you cannot search for a land.
Joshua Yeri just told us on Twitter that Tempered Steel just won a Star City Games Invitational qualifier today in New Jersey. So Tempered Steel slowly taking the country by storm. It's pretty nice to see something refreshing. Different kinds of white cards. A white deck with 0 copies of Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah.
with the whole block out, it finally allows the artifact themes to have the maximum amount of play, and there's some pretty great cards in the last set, including Porcelain Legionnaire and, as we mentioned, Dispatch. Some of them have had a Shrine of Loyal Legions, although this one doesn't.
I'm confused as to what Matt's thinking about. If I were a judge, I think I would call for slow play right now. Yes, that is what you are going to do. All right, so Matt's going to pop up to 14. He's going to put John down to 9.
He's got a scry, right?
Yeah, he does have to scry.
Did you just miss? I mean,
it exiles it, so if he didn't scry, he didn't.
Well, but he put the card into his graveyard, right?
Yeah, so.
So he activated this scry 1 ability.
He just didn't.
Unless was he scrying while the camera was off screen?
Oh, maybe he was scrying that whole time. He was thinking about whether or not to put the card on top or bottom. Maybe that was the question. That's what was going on.
Technically, I believe the drain ability happens before the scry ability, because don't you sacrifice it goes on the stack and the drain ability goes on top of it? Not that it you know, like I.
Yes, you're right. So.
But I mean, obviously it's like, you know, slight out of order sequencing, whatever. But it's I mean, it could have been an issue. That's why I was pretty sure that he just missed his scry. But I mean, whatever. We're past that point now.
Yeah, and you know, it's
it's
fine to make those shortcuts. Your opponent has no cards in their hand. It's not but it's not fine to make them normally.
Well, I mean, no, it is relevant, because if you're going to scry, you know what your top card is, which could make a difference somehow, I guess. Probably not, but it could. But you know, it's just it's a thing. I mean, basically, what it says though, we couldn't tell if he scried or not.
What's going on? He's not. Okay. Yeah. Okay. He's activating the Glen Hawk Idol.
All right. So Idol goes in and blocks the Seer.
Just going to go ahead and sacrifice that. John's going to go down to 5 here.
Puts it on the bottom pretty quickly.
And, he's going to go down to 5. It's going to untap. He wants a non-land card here. Any non-land card will do.
Emmett Gore points out on Twitter that Malakir Bloodwitch might be a pretty good card right now, considering
Malakir Bloodwitch could be really good.
And I mean, it's not in this deck.
I'm surprised he didn't attack with the Vault Scourge there. I think it does.
Yeah, I'm also kind of surprised he didn't attack in that situation.
And Inkmoth's not really that bad either.
And yeah, there's a Lacerator for Matt Landstrom.
Okay, Matt's going to pass back. All right.
And in comes Inkmoth Nexus with
Inkmoth Nexus comes
counters.
in for 3 poison counters.
With the Scourge hanging back to block some more. And here comes Memnite.
Memnite.
3/3 Memnite. Everything on that battlefield is just so much bigger than it looks with that
Gundor monsters.
Yeah, exactly. You just free mana, free mana, 3/3.
I'm surprised he hasn't just been attacking with the Vault Scourge and leaving the Inkmoth on D, because then he would be gaining life.
I guess
it's just dangerous to be at 5 against decks with red spells.
I guess it's because the clock is 1 turn shorter with
it's true.
With
the clock is
but the life gain is so huge at this point. Like, you don't want to accidentally die to double lightning bolt. Okay, does it again. Plus,
all right, Matt goes to 6 poison now.
The other problem is if Matt has a way to deal with that Nexus, then you know, John just basically wasted 3 turns or whatever, getting him to 9.
Yeah. I mean, all his opponent has to do is like draw a bolt or something, and then.
I mean, and obviously we would prefer to bolt Jonathan's face, but if that's not possible, then you can just, you know, take 3 turns away from what Jonathan Tessler has done. Matt is gripping and go for the throw, which we said is very dead in this matchup.
Yeah, not a good card.
That's definitely a defining factor of the first game.
Is that a gatekeeper? That'd be pretty good.
Let's see. I mean, tapped 3. Oh, he's untapping one of his lands. Oh. So he's thinking about it. I couldn't quite make out what the card in his hand was, but for 3 mana, Gatekeeper seems like the most likely thing to me. The only other option is Dismember. Oh, and that's what it is. It's a Dismember.
Ooh, that's really good.
That's a big problem for Jonathan Tessler. And if he had been attacking with that Vault Scourge, he might have been up on some life, but now he's in a really rough position.
He goes to 4, and he just doesn't have anything. He's just dead.
I mean, he's got a card in his hand. I think it's a Dispatch. That's what it looks like.
Oh, okay. So he goes to...
Or he was tapping a mana. I assumed it was for Dispatch. He's activating Glintalk Idol to block. It might just be a blank. So he's going to take 3,
1.
drop to 1.
And he needs to draw a removal spell for this. Or he can draw Tempered Steel to make his Inkmoth lethal.
Let's see what he drew.
I don't know what he drew. So he's at 1.
No, and that's it. Yeah, he should have been attacking with the Vault Scourge.
Yeah, had he been attacking with the Vault Scourge, it would have been a much different game.
Oh well, so that's that. I mean, I understand like why you go for the Inkmoth play, because you want to cut your opponent's options down by giving them one less turn.
One less turn to draw the cards.
The life gain is just so relevant. But
the cards they want to be drawing are burn spells, and you make those cards dead.
But yeah, Matt Landstrom takes the first game. And how do you think we're going to sideboard? These Manic Vandals are going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Landstrom is definitely bringing in 2 Manic Vandals. He'll probably bring in. Oh wow, he's Arc Trails too. Yeah, post board this match is just like massively in Matt Landstrom's favor. I think we can expect John Tessler to bring in 4 Etch Champions. Those seem pretty good here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple Journey to Nowheres. And actually, I think Indomitable Archangel is actually just ridiculous here.
Indomitable Archangel.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know how. I mean, none of your removal is going to be turned on. So, I mean, the Go for the Throats come out, but Lightning Bolt becomes dead, Dismember becomes dead, Manic Vandal becomes dead. Wow, Indomitable Archangel, what a card. Now, there's only 1 in his sideboard. But for those who don't know what it does, it's a white-white 2/4/4 flyer, and as long as you have Metalcraft, all your artifacts have Shroud.
Yep.
So, you can't kill them, they're hard to remove. Very difficult to deal with, and since they're boarding out their Go for the Throats, they don't have a good way to kill the Archangel.
Yeah.
So pretty nice.
Seems really good to me.
So it seems like Matthew, I'll bring in Dismember, Manic Vandal, Crush, maybe something that could make an appearance.
Well, Crush doesn't really have any targets either.
I guess just Mox Opal, yeah. Doesn't really do that much. Or Glintalk Idol, kind of. But yeah, I still wouldn't.
Glintalk Idol, it's hard. Like if they have a white mana open, they can just pay 1 white and counter your Crush. Yeah. So
no, Crush no good. Arc Trail, Skin Render, Manic Vandal, Dismember for sure. On Jonathan's side with his white weenie deck, looks like
Etch Champion,
Journey to Nowhere,
Journey, and Indomitable Archangel.
And the Archangel. Yep, that about covers it. Do you think Chimeric Mass is any good here?
I don't think so. I actually don't know where you want Chimeric Mass when you're playing this deck. I guess if like people have Wrath effects, you kind of just want like big threats that are like single cards. Mm-hmm. But I'd rather have Evasion. So I mean, he can still beat the Matt Landstrom's deck. All he really has to do is maybe he can if he can land a Tempered Steel on turn 2 or 3, he can probably get around a lot of the burn spells. Like cards like Arc Trail will become dead.
I agree.
But if he doesn't have a Tempered Steel in his opening hand, he basically I hate to say it, but I think you have to mulligan any hand without a Tempered Steel. You might end up just mulliganing into Oblivion and losing the match that way.
I mean, I think it's pretty necessary. I mean, it's possible if you have like a really, really insane hand, maybe, but even then.
Well, don't all the insane hands have to have Versailles?
I mean, exactly. I mean, like, what's the best hand you can have otherwise? Like, Porcelain Legionnaire, like turn 1 Vault.
And you're putting Arc Trails.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to have the Tempered Steel.
Like you really just need the Tempered Steel in this matchup. Like nobody else is playing Arc Trail in this room probably. This is not where Jonathan Tessler wants to be sitting.
I mean,
not across from
I mean, once again, Vampires made top 8 last week. Like it's not.
Oh yeah. No, I know it's not like completely off the radar.
I mean, there are plenty of Arc Trails running around, but
it's not a card you really.
Right. I mean,
it's popular right now.
Yeah, with blue-white Cobblade everywhere, with Grixis Twin everywhere, playing with Pyroclasm instead. Arc Trail is a card that's definitely gone on the downside, but it's still really good. Here's Inkmoth Nexus and Mem Knight from Jonathan Tessler. And there's Blackleaf Cliffs pass. So Matt did not have a 1-drop. We saw him playing his deck earlier today, and he did the same thing where he didn't keep a hand, or where he kept the hand without a 1-drop in it.
I mean, against this deck, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
Like, if you have like an Arc Trail in your hand, it's fine to not have a 1-drop. Right here, the game could almost end on Matt's turn if Matt has an Arc Trail in his hand.
Yeah, that'd be such a blowout. All right, but he doesn't, just has the Lightning Bolt. I mean, just getting a 2 for 1, and killing 2 very relevant cards is a big deal. Do you see the Tempered Steel in Jonathan's hand?
I cannot make out.
Yeah, I
what's in
can't make it
Jonathan's
out either.
hand.
It doesn't. There's an Etched Champion.
Yeah, you probably don't want to play that one before you have 2 artifacts in play.
Doesn't look like he has it to me. Let's see what's peeking back through those cards. Mem Knight bashes in for 1. Well, he's definitely not playing it this turn. Taps 1. Vault Scourge.
Scourge.
Taps 2.
And I don't know. Is he gonna get in for 1 poison? Or is he gonna play? Or does he have another play?
Well, yeah. Not getting any.
So John is down to 16 now. He's down to 14 now.
There's another Vault Scourge.
And passes back.
Yeah.
John should actually be at 14 there. There you go.
Yeah.
So Matt gets in there with a Blood Gas.
Right.
I imagine John's just going to go to 12.
Yeah.
It's also pretty rough when you're playing against like a very like sly style of deck like Vampires to have so much Phyrexian mana in your deck.
It's also, you're also right, man. Like if there's an Arc Trail here, it just lights out. Like just kill both the Vault Scourges and. Let's see. So he looks like he cracks a fetch land. Maybe we're going to see Gatekeeper. Is that a card peeking out for Matt Landstrom? Yep, Gatekeeper comes down.
It's pretty huge.
Gets away over that Mem Knight for free, which is nice for Matt Landstrom. Jonathan Tessler draws, plays a second Inkmoth Nexus, serves for 2 with the pair of Scourges, going up to 14 life himself.
Yep, putting Matt down to 15. And now he's going to play an Etched Champion, and that's really strong here. Even if Matt has a removal spell from one of the flyers, the Inkmoth can get activated to turn Metalcraft back on. So.
Yeah, that thing is pretty sufficiently Metalcraft, which makes attacking for Matt Landstrom a pretty rough proposition.
It's true.
The only way it will work out is once again if he has Arc Trail, kills off both the Scourges, and then the Etched Champion is free to be killed or can't block effectively. Let's see what Matt Landstrom does here.
Yeah, even if he has another Gatekeeper, John can just activate his Inkmoth and sacrifice that.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be Arc Trail, I guess. Well, no Tempered Steel so far for Jonathan Tessler, but Matt Landstrom looks at Inkmoth Nexus, making sure that it turns into an artifact.
Yeah. And just wants to get a handle on what's going on here.
Yep, he's thinking the same thing. All right, so there's the Highborn.
It's a pretty good one.
Gonna serve with the Blood Gas and getting a free 2 points of damage.
Yeah. I mean, John is certainly blocking. Not blocking just seems like
mean, I guess the difference is he gains 2 life, but you force him to spend a mana.
Yeah, you force him to play the land, though.
And you force him to play a land, which seems pretty important.
And you know, he can't play another land this turn, so he'll have to do it next turn. So it's not like it's going to have haste and attack again next turn.
Right.
So Matt's at 17. John is at 12 now, I believe.
Manic Vandal peeking out from behind Matt Landstrom's hand.
Ooh.
That's a rough card for Jonathan Tessler.
Yeah.
All right, down comes the Lacerator.
Yeah, there are a lot of cards in Matt's deck now that are very bad for John.
But once again, if John finds those Tempered Steals, the game is almost over. I mean,
yeah, he'll just crush him.
I mean, double
the incredible thing about this deck is its ability to just.
That's what Tempered Steel decks usually are. Same thing with one in Extended, you know. It's if you have the Tempered Steel, your deck is so good. But if you don't, it's not that it's bad, but just that you have a motley collection of creatures you have to kind of get there with.
Okay, so I see an active aggression in Matt Landstrom's hand.
Active aggression, interesting. That could potentially 2-for-1 both those Vault Scourges next turn.
Yes. Which is pretty huge. Even if his opponent has Tempered Steel in play, he can still.
Chooses to Manic Vandal down the Porcelain Legionnaire.
Seems reasonable.
And let's see, now Matt is thinking if he wants to attack or not, what his avenues are. Like, you could send with the Gatekeeper and the Vampire Lacerator, but if he blocks one, you know, then you're losing a creature. I don't know. I think you probably just have to pass this, even though you don't really want to. And yeah, that's what Matt ends up doing. He needs to find it, like, you know, once again, an Arc Trail.
Now, let's see, what did John draw here?
Let's see. Not quite sure what is in Jonathan's hand. Is that Dispatch? Yeah, that's Dispatch. Alright, so he flings a Dispatch at the Highborn, exiling it, doesn't trigger.
Surprised he's just not getting in for these free poison points now.
Yeah,
he could just like it's just basically 2 free poison now, and if he draws a Tempered Steel, like he could probably just Ink Moth him out of nowhere, even if he has no board. Like even if Matt's like active aggression to his board away.
He's not really concerned about blocking. I mean, it seems like it's just free damage. I don't know why you wouldn't get in with those, but that's not the route that Jonathan Tessler's mind is on this game.
So Matt goes ahead, and Matt goes ahead and plays a land. This will return his Bloodghast back to play. He's going to have a pretty powerful next turn when John serves with these Vault Scourges.
Yeah, that'll drop Matt Landstrom down to 9, bring Jonathan up to 18. All that life he paid earlier is coming back for him. And there he goes. Now he activates both next eye.
Okay, I like that.
Serves in for 4, 2 normal, 2 poison.
Yeah. Now, we can expect from Matt is Matt's going to cast an active aggression, go down to 9, take a Vault Scourge, and block a Vault Scourge, at which point he'll go to 10 and 2 poison. And John will go to 17.
And I think you have to, you got to go for the Vault Scourges here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you just have to. So he'll take a Vault Scourge. He'll block a Vault Scourge. So he'll end up going to 10. John will end up at 17. John's whole board dies.
And as champion is no longer on Metalcraft.
Yeah, I mean, it seems really odd that John would, you know, attack with those Ink Moths on the specific turn when his opponent had all their mana untapped, as opposed to all the turns where his opponent was tapped out.
Right.
John definitely needs to play this land so he can turn Metalcraft on for his Edge Champion in case his opponent has a removal spell.
Yeah, there we go. All right, now Metalcraft is back on.
His opponent even knows he has it, so.
And Craft is back on. Now it's a matter of, I mean, the thing is, Gatekeeper still gets around it. I guess he can activate the Ink Bomb next to sacrifice to that, but then that shortens his
So
Poison
Matt went
Claw.
down to 9 there, right? From his Lacerator.
Right? Because John's life is on 17. If Matt plays a Gatekeeper here, do you think you sacrifice your champion?
It's going to... I don't know. So here Matt's going to block and then activate both next eye. At which point, one's getting dismembered.
Oh, that's a blowout for
yeah, that's just
John
absolutely
Tessler.
a blowout.
John Tessler takes 6, and now he just has nothing, more or less.
And he's at 11.
Now, Tempered Steel here would still be pretty insane. That Nexus would be a 3/3 blocker, and none of Matt's creatures can fight through that.
It's true.
That really is the card that Matt Landstrom does not want to see. Oh, Jonathan Tessler just bats back.
Ooh, and Matt drew a bolt. That's probably going to seal it up.
See that? That's 6 damage right here.
Yeah.
Dropping John down to 5. Bolt puts him at a virtual 2. And even if he draws Tempered Steel now, he can just bolt the next eye, or just bolt to the face.
Yeah, he can just attack with everybody and then bolt the face.
So, I think that's probably
that's
going to be it for John the Tessler.
Unless there's a Wrath of God we don't know about in his deck. Which I don't think there is.
Definitely does not have any of those. He's going to draw his last card. All right, Ornithopter. Just what he always wanted. All right, passes back. And that's an Arc Trail he just drew? Wow. Just for good measure, Arc Trail Ornithopter, 1 to you.
Come on, really? You're going to... This is pretty vicious slow roll.
All right, he dispatches the tap, the Bloodghast.
All right, so it taps a Bloodghast. Dispatch is not very impressive when you don't have Metalcraft.
No, it is very much an all-in kind of card. So then Matt serves for 4. He can block one with the Ornithopter and drop to 3, which is a convenient life total for Lightning Bolt to kill. He can activate the next eye and block, but I mean, all right, blocks and bolt you. All right, and that's it.
And that'll do it.
Matt Landstrom likely advances to the top 8 of this event.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's alive.